politics.
Again, I'll go back to what I said in my opening speech. Can you have a separation of morality and state?
Yes.
Okay, explain that to me. So if we're going to pass a law,
Yes.
and we're going to say, do not murder, by
Right.
what standard do we believe that?
By any you which please.
By what?
Separation of church and state
No, I got it.
says that I can have any reason for believing that.
No, no,
no. You're trying to cut me
following.
off. Chill.
No, you're not. Hold on.
Chill.
You're not following. You have to tell me by what standard do you get that from.
Calm down. So what I'm saying is I can derive morality from any which way I do believe.
Oh, I agree with that. That's a problem.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here into a new video. Today, we're going to be checking out Charlie Kirk makes pirates walk the plank over morality. Okay, that's going to be amazing. I'm calling Charlie kick because he loves kicking us. Let's get right into today's video, guys.
All right, we'll take one or two more. Oh, we got Johnny Depp here.
Hey, boss, how you doing? All right, so I had a question about something you were talking about earlier. Oh, my bad. So you were talking about science and the church and, like, separating the two? I just fundamentally don't believe that. I want to know where that came from. Because
Say that again.
Science, for me, explains God's creation.
Science, got it.
Yeah, science.
No, I never said separate. No, I said reason and revelation.
You kind of did earlier, though.
No, I never said that. I said reason and revelation are two different matrices of viewing things, and actually one can point to the other.
Okay, well, for me, I'm saying science explains the world and whatnot, right? That's why I chose science as a course.
Great.
Right.
I think science proves that God is true. I think the more that we study the human genome, the more that we map DNA, the more that we understand the miraculous improbability of our existence.
We're talking about verbiage here a second ago. Let's just talk about how science doesn't prove God. It explains God, if you anything.
Fine.
Right. Semantics, right? That's what we were talking about earlier?
Okay, sure.
What I'm saying is, why does it have any room in our political discussion whatsoever?
Oh, it has a huge role in our political discussion.
Why?
You mean politics or religion or what?
Yeah, politics. Why does religion play any role in politics?
Again, I'll go back to what I said in my opening speech. Can you have a separation of morality and state?
Yes.
Okay, explain that to me. So if we're going to pass a law,
yes,
and we're going to say, do not murder, by what standard do we believe that?
By any you which please.
By what?
Separation of church and state
I got it.
says that I can have any reason for believing that.
No.
You're trying to cut me off. Chill.
No, you're not. Hold on.
Chill.
You're not following. You have to tell me by what standard do you get that from.
Calm down. So what I'm saying is I can derive morality from any which way I do believe.
Oh, I agree with that. That's a problem.
Which means Christianity does not need to be the fundamental cause for morality. So I'm saying they should be separate 110%.
Okay, then what cause of morality do you think the state should ascribe to?
There's no basis for morality. Morality is what the collective believes.
Oh, it's what the collective believes.
Like a democracy.
Got it. So under that belief, was Hitler right to kill the Jews? They wanted it.
No.
Oh, but that's what the people believe?
Yeah, but there's more than just Germany out there. There's a whole damn world.
Okay, yeah, Soviet Union, they believe that we should imprison the Mensheviks.
There's more people than just Russia.
Okay, Mao China wanted to go...
There's more people than just China. What do you
Well,
not understand
actually, we're getting
about
up at like half of the world population at this point.
First of all, so be clear about your numbers.
Hold on, calm down, smartass. Okay, so...
You're the one who doesn't know anything.
And so, wait, hold on. If you add up China's population, Russia's population, and the population of Europe...
Which all have different beliefs.
You add up like about half of, the world population.
Which all have different beliefs. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. So at some point, do you believe murder is objectively wrong?
Yeah, because the collective says it's wrong. What do you mean?
But not in every country do they say it's wrong.
That's the few in power of each of those countries. What are you talking about?
That's not correct.
That is correct. What do you mean?
See, now you're getting a little upset.
I am, because you're objectively trying to lie to the crowd.
So, again, the collective. This is not a Star Trek episode, okay? But let me walk you through this. In Nazi Germany, the body politic wanted bad things to happen to Jews.
And most of the world said that was wrong.
Okay, but the country itself said it was okay. Most of the world right now says abortion is okay. Is most of the world right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh. By what moral standard?
By the one they've collectively agreed upon.
Can the collective ever be wrong?
Probably.
So in world history...
Why are you a man being able to say this when
in world
everyone
history,
here believes God sets the mandate?
So
why are you trying to tell me what it is?
In world history, the entire planet for 2,000 years believed slavery was okay. Was the entire world right?
No, obviously not.
Oh,
we just talked about morality being wrong by the collective occasionally.
Well, okay, I think slavery and mass murder is pretty wrong, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so again, when the collective gets things wrong, then maybe we shouldn't appeal to the collective because the collective has given us really evil things over the years. Instead, we should appeal to something higher than us, something greater.
Has Christianity ever led to anything evil?
Of course, you can use a
Right,
shovel to
so-
dig a ditch or to murder somebody.
What I'm saying is Christianity has no merit above the collective.
Of course it does. By what?
How?
Well, first of all,
That's not the word of God, that's the word of men describing the word of God.
okay, that's a separate issue if you
Yeah.
want to discuss that. But I do ask the question, what faith did the founding fathers have?
Separation of church and state.
Okay, again, that actually that's not in the Constitution.
All right,
but
those words explicitly were not in there.
Yeah, and just so we're clear,
cares?
do you know where that phrase came from?
People escaping religious persecution from their home countries.
Right, so it was Thomas Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptist Convention guaranteeing them that the state will not come after them.
He also had slaves, so how is he inherently right? You said people make mistakes.
Of course they can, but that's not even the contention I was making. I was saying that's the origination of the term.
There's a lot of talk about what's happening in Israel right now. Hostages being released, terrorists resurfacing, Gaza plans, and so on. But there's one thing we tend to overlook: the people of Israel. The war has taken a huge physical and emotional toll on the Jewish people. And that's why I want you to know about the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. And I want you to support the important work they do. IFCJ is on the ground throughout Israel, providing food and life-saving aid to the sick and elderly, even released hostages and their families. Join with me and visit ifcj.org/learn more.
John Adams famously said, the Constitution, the structure that we care about, is only compatible with a moral and religious people. When the American people are no longer moral or religious, the promise of the Constitution starts to fall apart. And again, I will kind of go back
Semantics or.
Okay.
Not moral and religious, moral or religious. People can derive morality outside of religion.
Okay, again, you might come to a conclusion with a blindfold on, but that's a bad way to be able to find
But you're taking
truth.
your own bias into account, are you not?
So I do have to, and by the way, just so we're clear, John Adams didn't own slaves, so you should also take
I didn't
what
say
he
John
says.
Adams.
No, I know, I'm just saying you should take what he takes more seriously, but
Okay.
I do want to get down more fundamentally. In the 20th century, we saw mass murder in China, in Vietnam, in the Soviet Union, in Nazi Germany, all because they believed the collective morality is correct. Does any of that make you have pause that maybe we should appeal to something greater?
You're also describing places where they had power consolidated at the top.
Well, okay, because the people largely gave it to them, right?
Not necessarily.
Well,
you guys complained for years about a rigged election. You can't think that happened beforehand, before technology was so abundant?
Okay, again, we're now conflating like three separate topics.
No, you're talking about a new issue, and I'm converting to
Got
the
it.
issue with you.
So if today, let's do a hypothetical.
Okay.
If today, so actually in 1840.
Okay, that's not now.
Okay, let's even say today. If today all of a sudden there was an up or down vote and people want to bring back, let's just say indentured servitude, would the collective be wrong?
Probably, and I would speak
By
out
what
against that
definition
too.
of wrong are you appealing to?
My own sense of morality that's not derived from religion.
See, this is where you get this, now the final revealing. He's now revealed himself.
What reveal?
It's your opinion versus their opinion. We as Christians believe there's something above both of us that we appeal to.
That was
And I
Because-
agree with that. I don't agree with your sense of morality. Your
Okay.
sense of morality is a bastardized of the church word.
Okay, fair.
100%.
Not fair enough, but I'm going to go to...
Okay.
But one final thing. Wouldn't we both agree then we need objective, transcendent morality to live under?
Objective cannot exist in morality. That is opinionated.
Okay, so therefore, murder cannot objectively be wrong. Child rape cannot objectively be wrong. It's just an opinion.
That is not anything what I just said.
No,
you
you
put
said-
those examples forth.
That's actually what I said, right? Let's take child rape.
You're talking about a very deep You're talking about a very deeper issue that is a...
No, it's actually exactly where this conversation is going.
You're talking
which
about
is-
philosophy here, which is beyond the scope of the
No,
conversation we're having
not-
with
it's
Is that not philosophy?
It's very, well, religion is a form of philosophy. You know
No,
what
it's not. It's a form of
okay,
religion.
So what does the word philosophy mean? The word philosophy means what?
A
Love.
definition of morality
Let's go back
and
to Greek.
ethics outside of
what does
religion.
philosophy mean, everybody? Philos, love. Sophos, wisdom. The love of wisdom. And where do you get wisdom from? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
I would argue...
Christianity and philosophy
no,
are directly
absolutely
connected.
not. Absolutely not. Wisdom comes from experience. The word of God comes from the bastardization of man. Who wrote the passages in the Bible? Man.
Well, he transcribed them.
He transcribed. That's the same. Oh, sorry. That's the same thing. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
By what moral standard was it wrong to swear?
I don't find it to be wrong. Personally, I think every adult here cusses, and it's not objectively
if it's not wrong, why'd you apologize?
Okay, that's fine.
No, if it's
Are
not
you
wrong,
ever going to apologize?
Well, I'm sorry, hold on. But why, if it's not, this is important. Why would you, if it's not wrong, why'd you apologize for swearing? There's something in you that said this is wrong.
Because the collective of this room said it's wrong, and I try
No,
not
they
to
didn't.
do.
There wasn't a vote. There wasn't a scorecard like don't vote, like don't swear,
Who
not
clapped
swear.
with Christianity?
Okay, yes.
Oh,
but,
now they're silent.
yeah, but they
Christianity inherently has taught me throughout my youth not to swear, not to cuss.
Has that been a good thing or bad thing for humanity?
I think it's neutral. I think it makes no difference.
I think it's a good thing we teach
don't
people to
difference.
restrain their tongues. I think it's a good thing for self-control. I think it's a good thing that we teach that your words really matter and that you shouldn't just say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it. And the fact
I agree with that.
Well, hold on. The fact you interrupted yourself shows that actually the Christian inheritance without you knowing it creates better actions. Because it creates better behavior.
Yeah, I've also seen Christians do the worst shit I've ever seen.
Of course, but how do you know it's bad? You know it's bad because
my own sense of morality. We've been over this.
Right, and Hitler's sense of morality has killed the Jews. If we all have our own
and the collective said that's not right.
Well, actually, they didn't. He was democratically elected. It's not true.
Of that country. There's more people in a country, dog.
Yes. Again, lots of countries can make collectively awful and terrible decisions.
Right.
And so when a country does that, and again, just so we're clear,
that also happened in the past.
You are unintentionally minimizing the Holocaust, which is fine, but you're unintentionally.
How?
Because you're saying, oh, it's just one country, it's just one thing. First of all, Hitler took over like all of Europe. It wasn't just one country.
Through military strength, not through democracy.
Right, but he believed he was right.
Right, and the rest of the world said you're not.
Well, actually, that's not true. At first, Russia
Why
said
did the U.S. get into World War II?
Time out. At first, Russia said he was right, and then they changed their mind.
Oh, yeah.
Italy said he was right. Imperial Japan said he was right. The whole world was not united against Hitler.
And I put that on the...
Time out.
Okay.
The whole world was
you,
not
sir.
against Hitler until two original Anglo-Christian nations, Britain and America, decided to tell him to stop.
Where the
so the whole world was...
they...
Nope, not correct. The entire world was not united against Hitler. In fact, every major power was trying to cozy up to him.
You are talking about the word of the men that were leading those countries, not the people themselves.
Again,
you still ignore the people's word. I know 75 million people voted or whatever, but there's more people than 75 million in America. I'm so sick of this conversation of the majority. I'm talking about the majority with the election, people. 75 is not a majority of 350. That's math.
Mr. Pirate, you brought up the collective, just to be clear.
Yes. And I also said the collective can be wrong.
Again, we go back to the moral standard of
There's no absolute truth over here.
Yes, there is.
You're trying to say
Do you believe that absolutely?
You got me.
Do you believe it absolutely? You said there's... If there's no absolute truth, do you believe it absolutely?
Personally, but there is no absolute on the collective.
Wait, hold on. So you absolutely...
My personal beliefs do not dictate the rest of the world.
Well, hold on. So you absolutely believe that there's no such thing as absolute truth, therefore showing that there is absolute truth.
Okay,
because that's a truth claim.
Thank you, boss.
Yes, what I'm saying is that your philosophy falls apart upon even the slightest cross-examination, which is that, of course, there's absolute truth.
Your only fundamental truth is a book that was written thousands of years ago and translated multiple times. What do you mean?
Actually, my fundamental truth...
Truth can change with knowledge being input.
Okay, truth can change. I'll wrap up in a sec.
Okay, boss.
Truth can change. Can an adult become an infant?
But you sure act like one.
Oh, thank you. That's sharp.
I thought I'd throw that out there. Look,
so
you're talking about semantics of someone else's life. You're talking about semantics of someone else's life where neither of us have a word to say about it.
We will go to the next question. I will close with this on this, and we'll end one more. This is the moral confusion that happens if Christians do not contest in the public square. This right here. Thank you very much.
I'm Christian.
Our pirate guy right here knows the truth, but chooses to ignore it. He just don't state it out that is the truth. You understand? And it's painful. It's very, very bad. Morality, like we know, it's a sense of self-guilt. If you do something like this by you stealing, you know what you did was wrong. You understand? It's either you pay for what you have stolen, or you get arrested. But when you steal something, you know what you did was wrong. Or when you insult someone, you know what you did was wrong. It's a sense of morality. You understand? So there's no way to gaslight it of saying that majority of people support it or does not support it or not. Irrespective if majority support or majority do not support. What you have done, you know is wrong or what is right. It's as simple as that. When you come to this sense of morality every single time, you start saying serious arguments and confrontation and say the majority of people do not accept it, majority of people accept it, less people accept it. So the full truth right here is that Christianity plays massive role in the life of that guy, in the life of Charlie. And if we are to abide with what Christ did, with what the Bible says, is a very justful way. You bringing out some people who are Christians and are not fully practicing the Christianity because they act in a very shameful manner, in a very bad manner. You don't judge every Christian like that. You understand? Because even the Bible said there will always be false prophets. A lot of people are also hypocrites during the time of Jesus Christ. Even up to now, a lot of people who are in churches that are also hypocrites. You understand? That does not justify that every single person who is a Christian are hypocrites. You get? There's a sense of morality right there. So, irrespective of if this guy chooses to accept it or not, that what Hitler did was terrible. Was really, really terrible. And inside Hitler's heart, I'm not Hitler, but I know with the word called morality and justice, he knows what he's doing is wrong. Either he chooses to accept it or not. So even people around him, whether they choose to accept it or not, they knew what he's doing is wrong. Killing innocent people, you know what you're doing is wrong. Even this Palestine-Hamas war, the whole world know what is happening is wrong. You understand? We all know what is wrong and what is right. The people who are innocent, who are paying the crime in this Palestine and Israel war, that it's not actually Palestine and Israel, it's actually Palestine and Hamas. Because that is where the main conflict is coming from. The main issue core is the Hamas. But we know the innocent people who are dying there, it's wrong for them to die. They should not die. The whole world knows that. This guy right here, he's just blabbing and he's just trying to win Charlie in the debate. I know he's not a fan of Charlie, but his statements, and he just wants to disprove Charlie. And he came prepared. He's a very smart guy. Truthfully, he's a very smart guy and he's a very research person. I'm not disputing him for that. And I love how clever he is. But at the same time, he knows the truth, but he just wants to tackle Charlie and play around. He knows the truth. He just don't accept it. He just don't want Charlie to win him in the debate. But the entire debate was actually beautiful. I know that Charlie was actually confused. Charlie was tired of listening to this guy. It was showing in Charlie's face. But it was beautiful listening to him, and I love how Charlie handled him in bringing clarity to the guy. Because that was Charlie's main focus, to bring clarity to him. Comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up, share this video to as many as you can. Subscribe to our channel, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.